Hello guys, this is Blade from Team Liquid presenting another YouTube video. This is actually going to be a continuation of my videos where I was going for... The last one was a cannon rush, but it showed the heavy cannon rush. This is actually going to show more of a normal cannon rush, kind of just a one behind the natural, and how I kind of react to that and everything. So, before I really, since this is just the beginning of the game, before I really start anything, I know I get complaints about the sound and how you hear static or something. I don't know how to fix it. If anyone knows, PM me on Team Liquid. I'm Blade55555 on Team Liquid. Or you can just PM me, or you can message me on the YouTube. Either way, I don't know how to fix it. I've tried everything I can think of. If anyone has any solutions, just do that for me. I get quite a few complaints about it, but I don't know how to fix it. So, back to the game here. I'm probably going to skip through parts of this game because this main game isn't really to focus through the mid-game or anything. So I'm going to fast forward once we get later in the game. I imagine most people still want to see the result of the game, so I figure I'll let them see it. But what's going to end up happening here is, so I drone scout because I don't like to go hatch first versus a forge first. And I'm going to block his nexus. He's going to go forge first, and he's actually going to put a cannon here, and he's going to work. He's going to deny this expansion, and I'm going to show you what I do. Now, there's multiple ways to defend the cannon rush. When they block it all off, you know, pylon, or whatever, so that nothing can hit it, if they don't cancel one of the three, they normally do once you cancel the hatchery, but if they don't, you'll either have to make more queens, or you'll have to make some roaches. But most Prodosses will cancel one of the pylons so that your lings can get it, and then you just use one queen and a few lings, kill the cannon, and take your natural. But take your third first. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about, as that's what I do. So I'm going 15 pool, and he ends up doing the cannon rush. That is so popular nowadays, but I didn't actually think he'd do it because I 15 pooled. I was mistaken, of course. And so I make the hatch, and I'm like, oh, there's a pylon here. His forge just now finishes. And I'm trying to prevent it, pulling some extra drones, but then he decides to be really lame and he makes sure, and it's just one more hit, and then he gets that off, and there's no way I can kill that. Gateway's blocking it, so what I do, I accept my losses, I take my third, I bring my drones back, because you're not preventing this. When they get that wall off, you can't prevent it, it's impossible. So don't over-dramatic, don't freak out. The Protoss will have a little bit of an advantage in this game, but it's not like game ending. Trust me when I tell you that. Now there's a couple things you can do in this situation. Me, I don't like taking this as my other base and just taking this as my fourth. Some players like Jadong will take will just take the other two bases and then take this one later. I don't like that. I feel too vulnerable. So I make a few lings and I use my queen and I take out this hatch and take the expansion. That's just what I do. But I took this expansion, so it's not like my expansions are too delayed. They are delayed, but his tech's very delayed as well. Normally, in a normal ZVP, you see how it's 450 in the game right here? He would have already started the Cyber Core, but he can't because he's made such a late gateway. And so as you see, I'm making a few lings, getting ready to plant the hatchery. I do supply block myself, which is bad. And then I focus the hatchery. I start this hatchery. You only need about 6 to 8 lings. That's all you needed to stop this. I think I did 6 exactly, and then I ended up losing all my lings, but I did kill the cannon. And notice again, his Cyber Core is super late. Probe-wise, he's really not that far ahead. Sorry about that. He's only 2 ahead, and that's again because of his delayed nexus as well. And he's just kind of... And I'm having my queen poke at that, making another queen, droning. It's kind of what this next few minutes is going to be. Notice I have an overlord here and a here, so I can sacrifice later. I'm going to sacrifice this. Normally I would sacrifice this overlord at 6 minutes, 6:15, but due to the fact that it's he did the cannon rush, I knew his tech was delayed, so I did do it a bit later. And then he's going to end up doing this Stalker Zealot push to do this. And this catches me by complete surprise, but he really messes up. And like I said, I am not really planning on... I am going to be skipping forward through parts of this replay. I'm not going through this whole game in extreme detail in terms of certain aspects. Those will be in other videos if I'm going to go over that. As you can see, I'm just kind of making a bunch of links. I mean, for the Zealot Stalker Harass, this took me by complete surprise, which is bad on my part. But luckily for me, he got too, what's the right word? I guess you could say excited that he got this hatchery so low, and he ends up losing his Mothership Core, Stalker, and both Zealots, which is really bad. That should never happen. But it did, so this actually puts me in a good position. He's still going to be ahead in workers, but that's normal. And you just kind of play normal from here. Obviously you get your gases a little later. I doubled at, I think it was 6:30. That's when I start double gassing and mining. I let my minerals get really high, as you guys probably noticed, and went, wow, you suck. Well, I did suck to let that happen. So I made a macro hatch, and I start my 4th very shortly. I let the Zealot Stalker take too much of my attention. And I knew he was taking a 3rd here, I had a feeling of it. And I was right. So I just kind of drone, I take my 4th, I get my Roach Warren, start my lair at about, what's that, 7:30 or 8:30? Which is fine in a situation like this. In a normal game I started at about 7:30. And my game plan here is, this pretty much depends what he does. And he actually doesn't go Stargate, so I do abuse that by going mutas in this game for a little bit, but then I transition out. I intended on going mutas, but I get the Roach Horn just in case. You'll see why I'm glad I did. And as you can see, he's just kind of making cannons. He's kind of making a bunch of ground units, Immortal, you know, all the fun stuff. And I'm just creep spreading. You should always have an extra queen for creep spread, very important. I'm just kind of droning. There's my Spire. I don't think he knows I'm going Spire. And as you can see, he's moving out. And he actually does do damage with this because I supply block myself very shortly. Notice I have all this money and then watch me get supply blocked. Should have moved these spines as well. But he's able to walk up here and force field and snipe. And this is the downside of being supply blocked. But as you can see, he kind of loses some units here, but it's not. This obviously was good for him. There's nothing bad about this. He could have retreated sooner and lost less units, but in general that was very good for him. I lost 15 drones there. Of course, he just recalled out. He has no idea I have a Spire, and I'm going to go mutas now. And I replenish those drones instantly. And I'm just going to use my mutas to kind of do harass. And I kind of see he's going to kind of Archon, Templar kind of play. And I only make about 12, 15 mutas. And then I go into Swarm Hosts. And this guy really had no idea what to do in that situation. You'll see when this game keeps going. I'm going to fast forward a little bit more. This was a decently long game. But I'm just getting double upgraded. I'm getting Melee Carapace because I was actually intending on... I thought he was going to go Colossi. So I was intending on going a more faster Hive. And, but then he ended up going Templar, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go Swarm Host instead. The range upgrade is good for Swarm Host, but it's no big deal. I intend on going Ultra at some point in this game anyway. And he does something really bizarre. Oh, I guess I already missed it. Whoops. Well, he had cannons here, and he retreated all his probes to his natural, and he lost like 18. And I did scout the DT Shrine. So that's why I have Spines and an Overseer at all my bases. And you guys gotta admire this creep spread. It's pretty sick, right? And my Swarm Host should be popped out by now. Yep, there they are. 12 mutas, and then I make about 12 Swarm Hosts, go Hive. And all that fun stuff. I'm just kind of doing harass. And like I said, he didn't really know what to do versus this. He just kind of makes a ton of cannons. And that's it. He doesn't make Colossi or anything. Just makes a ton of cannons. which isn't the proper response. You need Colossi. They're a must versus Swarm Host play. As you can see, just kind of, this is just a composition you don't want. He never switches out of it. And he keeps I don't know, he keeps trading with these, which just doesn't work out very well. Notice how I'm running away with these. I'm not keeping them in one spot. And then this is worth it. I wanted to get Ultra Ling out. I was done with these roaches. Hey, look at this sick creep spread. Oh, it's so beautiful. Too bad I didn't get this area. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit, because it's just kind of dancing around at this point. It's him just never adapting. Then he ends up going Void Rays. But that doesn't really matter, because I have a huge bank, and I'm not losing anything. I think, is it Control L? Alt L? Control Alt L? I don't know it. Okay. Anyway, it's just kind of, and as you can see, he's making more and more cannons. He's not even doing Warp Prism Harass, which is kind of weird, as, again, his army can never take mine into straight up fight, but he, like, doesn't know what to do. He doesn't do Warp Prism Harass, he just kind of, which I have mutas for that anyway. He just kind of sits back and forth, and that's kind of why I'm not going into too much detail in this game, as this guy had no idea how to counter Swarm Hosts, or at least in this game he had no idea. Tried to sneak Void Rays, but it's never going to work. Because, I mean, like I said, I have a huge bank, I can remax with Hydras easily. I'm just going to go up here, kill it. And my transition into after this is to, I was debating on Broodlords, but I kind of never needed to. I just kind of kept making Ultra Ling in this position because, as you notice, his army isn't very good versus Ultras. When you face an army that's not good versus Ultras, you can keep making them, but once they start making that heavy Immortal Archon Colossi composition, you need to transition to Corruptor, Broodlord, Infestor. If you stay Ultras, you're going to lose everything, and you're just going to end up losing the game. And I mean, this game's been over for a while. Like I said, he doesn't know what he's doing versus Swarm Host, so there's really not much to commentate about because he's just trying Stalker's Templar. He was stubborn, decided to make more cannons instead of transitioning into Colossi, which is always a bad thing. And then, yeah, that's the game. So, yeah, there's not too much else. This video is mainly for the Cannon Rush, which I told you how to react, and you can transition into any playstyle you want after that. I'm not sure what my next video will be. If you want to give a suggestion or anything, YouTube comments, you can PM me on Team Liquid, anything. So, thanks for watching, and if you want to follow me on my Twitter, Blade555, or my stream, Twitch TV, Blade55s, feel free, and I'll have a video out hopefully within the next couple weeks, maybe next week if I have a good idea. Peace.